Welcome, viewers and listeners. I believe this is our first hearing for the month of April.
Indeed
it is. Such a joy to have you here with us on the TTT Sports Roundup. Your one-stop spot for all your sporting needs. Where we bring the local, international, and regional happenings in sports as well. We're gonna kick it off the only way we know how to, and invite the presence of God amongst our midst. So let's join us to do that for a few seconds. Let's just welcome the Most High among us. Most righteous and heavenly Father, we come before you right now, mighty God. We just want to give you thanks, mighty Father, throughout this season, mighty God, where we honor your name, honor your death, honor your sacrifices, mighty God, for your people. Father, we ask that you may take charge of this program right now. Cover myself, cover my co-host as well, cover our engineer behind the scenes, mighty God. Every equipment that is here present, mighty God, may it be of you, mighty Father. Every ear, every sound wave that comes from the studio, mighty God, may it be of you, mighty God, to reach your people through the ministry of sports, mighty Father. In your name, mighty God, we ask that you continue to guide us, continue to be with us and protect us. In your name we pray. Amen. All right.
Welcome to the ISSA edition of the Sports Roundup. And of course, we is this jam pack. When you say Easter, you say track and field.
You can't. Both of them go together. It was the other day I was looking and I saw a kite in the sky.
Yes.
And it kind of started to dawn on me that there was a time when these two things go together.
Yes,
so
man,
well,
of course.
Easter and kite.
And kite flying.
I have not seen a kite in the much more in Kingston.
Yeah.
Much more in Kingston. Just the same. That is how track and field and Easter generally go together.
In earlier days they said that these things are married.
Right.
not one without the other.
You buy them together.
You know what I mean? It's just a joy to be back on the Sports Roundup, and of course we have quite a bit, to pack into this 1 hour jam pack program. And of course we're gonna start off in track and field with Champs review. It was a fantastic festival. A lot of things to speak on.
One of the better stagings that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, man, and it's alive and well. And of course, they were coming out of the hiatus with this whole COVID and so forth. And last year was, was back. But this year, we're back in fully, fully in effect. And of course, as we had mentioned before, persons vying for the championship, KC, and of course, Edwin and were the defending champions. And of course, we saw that KC, this looked like a cakewalk. At first, it never felt like that. They said it was going to be very competitive. But on the balance of it, boy, this was a cakewalk for KC.
It was, and it wasn't slated as that. I think in the beginning, persons, including myself, would have expected a tighter battle.
Exactly.
I had still picked KC for the
championship, of course.
But
yes.
A tighter battle was on the card.
Indeed. For me, it was the same. I had KC winning from JC from Calabar. I expected a tighter, match up with JC, but it didn't amount to that. KC won by about 67 points.
Right.
That's a resounding victory. But on the female side, it was a little bit different.
That is true.
Very different on the female side. And of course, we know that Edwin Allen would have been the perennial champions. There for about 9 straight years or something like that. But of course, they had strong competition in Idle. And of course,
at
the end of the day, Idle
pipped
it and found by 2 points. By 2 points. It's such a fantastic spectacle it was. A lot of things that went Idle's way. And a lot of things that on the day. A lot of things that went against Edwin Allen on the day. But that's how championships are.
You need a little bit of luck sometimes.
Of course, man.
You need a little bit of luck. Not to take anything from Idle.
No.
Well-earned victory.
Yeah, man.
Well-earned victory. On your day, you need luck as well.
Of course. And of course, with sports, nothing beats that. Nothing beats good fortune. And of course, they would have enjoyed good fortune and having a disqualification with Edwin in one of the races made them really became trumps, as it were, and they basically performed very well in the last race to just carry home the title. So Hydale would have emerged as the girls champion with 2 points. I think their points tally was 279 to Edwin Allen's 277. It was fantastic. But here's some highlights on the boys' side that I'm just going to think that really lit up the championship. And of course, Barrage and Krumeh from KC. You know what I mean? I didn't believe I would have seen a schoolboy dip under 10 seconds.
Under 10 seconds.
You know what I mean? You know, I've watched that
was
quite
something
a bit.
that seemed far-fetched. Far-fetched.
I know that the 10-1-2 was in jeopardy.
Right.
And then by Darnell Hughes, who have set that record a couple years ago.
Jeopardy.
Yeah, I believe
to decimate it in this fashion.
You know what I mean? I wasn't expecting that. When I saw the 999, I tell you that I was very proud as a Jamaican.
Yeah.
You know, to see a schoolboy, you know what I mean, you know, to dip under 10 seconds. And it looked to me that he could have gone lower.
You know, I was just about to say that with better condition because the clock had given him 10.97. So with better conditions, I believe he could have
looked to me like he could have really done if he's, you know, he pressed the gas a little bit more.
I think there's a 10.96 or a 10.95.
Yeah, man. And he's such a fabulous talent. You know, we saw that on the boys' side. You know, we saw some strong performances. Shaquin Garden, who is, I think, about 14 or 15-year-old thing there in the class too. Winning at 13-4-2 looks very accomplished as an earlier as well at this young age, and I saw him doubling the 100 meter as well. It was very good. Another talent that I see out of St. Diego, Demario Prince in the class 1, and he won as well at 13-42, and he's a good long jumper as well. The likes of Adelano Kennedy, you know, from Edwin Allen, you know that this guy suffered a mishap at Cali, Colombia on the under 20 youth championship where he fell, you know, and didn't mean that he was a favorite at that point in time. I saw him come back at champs and won the 400 meter going away. I saw this guy named Malik Smithman from JC ran 20.90. You know what I mean?
That's the 200.
Yeah, for the 200 meter. And I'm saying to myself, Jamaica is just in a unique position as it relates to track and field.
Right.
What I'm seeing churning on, I'm going to get to Carifta a little bit later, but what I saw at Champs really gave me something to really smile about in terms of Jamaica's track and field.
Right.
That is really in good legs, if you want to put it that way.
That is true.
You know?
And I think I was saying it to you off here that
Yes.
the current gap that we're experiencing right now between our current set of professional athletes
yes.
versus what we had, let's say, about 2010, 20 to about, let's say, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a little gap.
Yes.
You know, there with the withdrawal of the Bolt and, you know, the Asaba on the Ranga side of his career, you know, Shelly on the Ranga side. You know, and with the emergence of the Americans.
Yes,
right, because the Americans are going through a certain emergence right now.
Yeah, man, of course.
You know, we are being
Shakar Richardsons and the Chris Colemans of his world. Of course, yes.
I think that with this core, I think I was saying it that, you know, you have the starlets in terms of the Uncremery and the Reed and the so forth. You have the starlets, you know, but I think overall, you have a collective unit of good players that can be ushered into that professional ranks. And I look at it, I'll say about 4.5, 5 years, we will be able to fill that. Yeah, man.
No doubts in my mind. I agree.
No doubts in my mind.
I think the time frame is actually probably a little bit shorter than even 4 to 5 years, because what I see in terms of the transition, it is these guys are understanding that track and field can change their lives.
Right.
I'm seeing that, you know, in terms of the energy that they would have brought.
That is true.
To the sport itself. You see that there's an expectation that this thing can really amount to something great.
It goes beyond the sport. Some of these guys are running for their future out there.
Oh, goodness.
Running for their future, the betterment of their families.
And I get really excited because some of these guys are coming from very humble beginnings.
True.
You understand? And some humble backgrounds and stuff like that. So when they get an opportunity like that to express their talent, and they see that this talent now can take me, when you're looking at a Shelly and you're looking at a Safa, you're looking at a Usain Bolt, this is impetus for me to know.
Your ticket.
Of course.
It's your ticket there.
And I'm so excited. I'm so excited for these youngsters. And I get really excited around Champs time.
Right.
Move on the girl side with Heidel and said that, you know, it's a pretty young school in terms of track and field. Of course, you know that the Homewoods of this world and the Edwin Hallins, of course, you know, and the Jagos and so on is really ahead of them in terms of history. But what have been happening over the last, I said, 4 to 5 years, you can see a transition, a building up over the period of time, and they're competing much more. They're in the top 4, they're in the top 3, and you're seeing good performance. You recognize that persons are leaving the traditional schools at St. Jagos.
That is true.
Going to the Heidels and so on, because they have a very good coach in Corey Bennett. And this transition does continue to this conveyor belt of talent is just continue to work. And we saw some really good performance on the Heidels and of course Alana Reed. We can't go further than that. 10.92 is another stellar performance.
Stellar. For a junior at that level, stellar.
I know that I would have seen the Clayton twins and I saw the 1095 by Tina last time. But when I say a 1092 by this Alana Reid, I'm saying to myself, she's not even pressed. She's not even pressed, and I've seen 1092. What will happen when time she get the kind of competition from the bigger ladies and stuff like that, and they can push her even further?
Something
what
else
are,
at the time.
What are we going to see? And I was so impressed with Alana Reid and her handlers, and of course I heard her interviews after the race, and this is what really gets me excited. She would have recognized, she understands the coaching and say that she's thanking her parents and she's thanking her coach for bringing her to this far. And this is such a profound thing to hear from athletes, that they recognize the support group that would have brought them to this position.
That is where you start to sense that it's more than sports.
Exactly.
It's more, they know that this is their ticket out.
Yes, indeed.
You know? And even throughout our local schoolboy circuits as well, it's a similar mindset, because a lot of these guys, they go into the schoolboy season not just to do it for the school, but to do it for themselves as well.
Exactly.
Because they understand that this is my ticket out.
This is the ticket. And I'm telling you that they're seeing starlets that are doing it on that stage,
right?
And they can see something to emulate.
That is true,
and that is so good.
That is true.
It's good to see. Notable performance: Jordan Daly, which was one of the big performances for me at Champs. I'm seeing a double that I've never seen before at Champs. She ran the 400 meter and the 100 meter hurdles. I've never seen a double like that competed at Champs, and she did that, which is unheard of. They show her range and her talent. She's an hurdler and she can run a flat floor as well. Kadeen Johnson, and I tell you, this is a story within itself. I don't know if you would have heard or would have seen Saschin. She was in the 2000 steeplechase and she fell at the final hurdle. And she got up and fell flat. And she got up and she ran and won that race. You know what I mean? That was something that was just
unheard of.
That's unheard
of.
She fell flat.
And still recovered enough.
And she recovered enough to win. That shows some sort of resilience.
That shows guts.
If Idol is going to look back at any moment in the championship, that was the moment. I've seen bigger athletes come off the track for smaller incidents of injuries. But she would have fought to the end, to the bitter end.
And to get it was a winning result from that.
And that was
if she had finished third, that would have been an accomplishment. Much more first.
Exactly.
Much more first.
If she had finished the race, any at all, would have been an accomplishment. But the fact that she got up and ran.
That speaks.
It's something for you to see if you have not seen it.
Else.
You know what I mean? It's a fantastic thing. And then there was another thing there, Ricky and Russell, which is Ormond, who's making a resurgence to Champs. And of course, they would have dominated for a number of years prior to Edwin Hallin getting this thing.
But I saw early 2010.
I saw a Ricky and Russell from Ormond. She's a 400 meter runner. And I think I've spotted the next big thing going 400 meters.
You heard it here first.
Yes, indeed.
You heard it here
I think
first.
I've spotted this because what I've seen it there, the determination reminds me of a runner that we used to have back in the I think her name was Graham. I can't remember her full name, but I'll come back with that name. But she reminds me so much in terms of her tenacity, and her drive. I'm seeing something there that I'm making a note of this name, Ricky and Russell, to watch our progress in the future. So there's just a lot of stories around the championship that is so good.
It was a very good stage.
It was a very good stage,
staging.
and of course, I'm going to let you speak about some of the negatives as well for Champs. And I don't want to highlight a lot of it, but we have to now mention some of that as well because we want to improve the product.
Which is right.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's just like I said. I think it was a very good staging, and we're not trying to throw dirt on the championship.
Yes, indeed.
But in every staging of events like this, you have to reach a point of retrospective where you sit and you say, all right, what could have been done better? What do we need to work on? Yes, it's a good staging, but it can be a great staging. So how will you get to that point?
That's correct.
And I think there was a few things that surrounded the championship that would have even transcended into some external matters in terms of sponsorship and so forth.
Yes.
But for us here, we're going to dissect it and we're going to leave a piece of it for our discussion segment as well. We have some bones to pick there as well. But just to give you an appetizer here, a few things in terms of, let's start with organization, right? There were a few backroom organizations that made it to the local tabloids and the local newspapers and so forth.
Yes.
In terms of spacing for the camps. Because, each camp would have submitted their respective numbers.
Yes.
So it is understood that space for these numbers would have been made.
Yes.
So if in the backroom staff I submit a number of, let's say, a quartet of 150 students.
Yes.
Versus a school that submit 50 students or 70 students.
Yes.
It's almost impossible for you to give those two schools the same amount of space.
Allotment, of course.
So you have persons having to split their camps.
Oh, goodness.
Having some on one side, having some on the next side, and that kind of as a
that
coach,
administrative
it messes
bungling.
up your
you can
plan.
avoid. Yes, you can avoid those things.
It messes up your plan.
Yes.
Even other closer matters like the hurdles, the height of the hurdles. For the class 4 girls, 110.
Funny enough that you had mentioned that, because that happened at the Gibson Makuk relays.
Right.
A similar incident in terms of the distance.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's supposed to have been like 70 meters or 60 meters. And it was 70.
It wasn't rerun.
No, it wasn't rerun. And they had other kind of changes to try to rectify the situation. But these kind of errors, the administrators have to look squarely at themselves.
They have to. And my beef is this.
Yes.
These athletes train, some of these guys are training for a
Yes.
year, a full year.
Yeah.
Right? Because some of them, they don't take off seasons.
Yes, indeed.
They don't. So they just train. Maybe
straight.
during the off season, they might do light training, but they train right through.
Yes.
And I'm saying they train for that one moment.
Yes.
That one moment. And for you to go into cause any mishap for that one moment because of incompetencies, that's unfair.
No.
That's unfair.
And
looking at that one moment again, there were some behavioral, inputs
issues,
from a few of the athletes and so forth.
Yes.
And, you would have steered some negative comments in the media, and some persons would have been understanding of the fact that these guys are training for years for that one moment.
Yes.
Viewers and listeners, I am not justifying violence.
I am no form of indiscipline as well.
Indiscipline.
No.
But I'm saying understand the emotions. Just like you said it earlier, that for some of these guys, these are their tickets.
Yes, man, of course.
This is their ticket out to maybe a university
College,
overseas or an opportunity overseas or getting into
or a professional contract. Yes.
This is their ticket.
Yes.
So to realize that it would have been grasped or gripped from their hand, or to realize that someone would have caused it to fumble or support,
the response is going to come.
Emotions will overcome them.
That is
and I think for some of these events that we see with the athletes, I think that was the case. Just the guys being overcome by emotions. Even the celebrations.
Yes, indeed.
The gun fingers
gun salute and stuff.
I would say something. A man or a Jamaican.
Yes, indeed.
A Jamaican will hear good news and raise his gun finger.
And says, "Bow!"
and raise his gun finger. He will hear good news and raise his gun finger and say, "My bust too blank."
Yes.
That is how they are receptive towards good news.
Yes.
Now, listeners, we are not saying that it should be acceptable on the platform.
Yes.
I am saying to you that before these events,
yes, indeed,
a lot of coaches would sit down with their team and say, "Guys, listen, don't go out there, go do that.
Yes.
Do not go out there, go bust any gun fingers or any blank."
Yes.
When they cross that finish line, when that adrenaline rush and that youthful exuberance, that image of coach telling that just fade away. It really just fade away. So I don't want us to look at it in a light where we're pinning it on the schools to say, coaches are not doing this. The coaches should tell them to do. No, the coaches are doing that.
No, you're
the coaches are doing that.
You're perfectly correct.
It's just the youthful exuberance and the emotions that are overcoming these guys.
And some things are innately Jamaican.
Exactly.
I don't know how you get around that, because from I've been watching track and field.
That's how it's been.
You've been bursting gun fingers.
that is how it's been.
I don't know, and I don't say it has been done in any kind of malicious way.
Right.
We're trying to hurt somebody, or we're trying to do anything. It is a Jamaican way, but
we understand that Champs is an international platform.
Yes.
So we're not saying that while we can look at it and say, all right, we get what it means.
Yes.
For someone looking out from maybe Europe or Central America, they might think, what are they saying? It's a rivalry. It's a gang thing. No, that's not the case.
Listeners and viewers is not supporting violence.
We're not. We're not. Because we believe it should be eradicated. But it has to be phased out.
Indeed.
Phase it out. Phase it out over a generation. Indeed. It's not something where you're going to tell the guys to stop.
It's a part of the, what should I say, the lack of maturity.
Right.
You know what I mean? And of course, as we continue to grow as a nation, I'm hoping that we'll get by some of these norms that we normally have. Moving on from there with track and field and so on, with some other things for discussion. We can speak to Mr. Grace CEO, Mr. Wehby, he had some comments to make concerning the whole overall discipline. And we'll have a little bit more discussion on this in the discussion segment. But we can look at Carifta. And of course, Carifta is on. Carifta 50 is on as well. You know what I mean? And I'm going to get into dissecting all of the results that has happened with Carifta. But I wanted to say that Jamaica is performing admirably well as well.
Performance.
You know what I mean? It's still after day 2, 51 medals, 24 on the girl side, and 27 on the boy side. On the girl side, 13 gold, 7 silver, 4 bronze. On the boys, 12 gold, 8 silver, and 7 bronze so far. You know what I mean? The major highlights, of course, Alana Reid in the 100 meters as well. You know, she followed up our win at the girls and boys championship with a win here at Carifta. And of course, we saw wins for Alexis James in the hurdles. Right. And of course, the girl that I spoke about, Ricky and Russell, won the 400 as well. You know what I mean? And if we're talking about the infamous gun finger, Mr. Nicoy Bramwell as well. And it seems as if controversy follows this gentleman as well. He celebrated with showing his Jamaica vest to the Bahamian people.
Yes.
And they asked him why did he celebrate like that? He said that he wanted to quiet the crowd. I'm just saying that, you know.
But matters off the field.
You know, man, matters off the field, you know, man. But you know what I mean? I'm saying that some of these guys probably, you know, you probably need to tone down, but how they interpret competition and so forth and so on.
Right.
They have their own way of interpreting these competition.
And you can sense
yes.
the youthfulness in it as well.
Yes, indeed.
You know, you can sense the youthfulness in it.
You know, and another stellar performance, Tremaine Todd in the 100 meter. He looks so smooth. I know saying that when I'm seeing these youngsters, I get really excited, listeners and viewers, and when I see track and field, and they're just showing their talent.
Right.
I'm just looking at them and saying that I can see this youngster transition into a next level based on how I'm seeing. Technically, he's looking so sound at 16.
You're seeing the possibility of the transition into professional ranks.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was watching a few of the races at the Carifta game. And
yes.
I was just looking at it and said, Jamaica is just one big bully. It's just one big bully. Like, you know, they would just seem like one big bully just bullying around all these sides. Well, you know, that's how it just came out to me.
I tell you, this is so fantastic. Good performance all around. I saw someone from other countries. I saw this guy, Dimitri Mears, from Belize. He ran the 1500 meter and the 3000 meter. And I'm telling you that he took everybody to school. He went on like he was running a sprint. Yeah, nobody could stay with him and live with him. And this augurs well for the region as well, because we're looking at track and field. We must look at the region as well. So when Belize and Bahamas and Trinidad does well, it augurs well for the Caribbean region.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So it's
one product coming out of the Caribbean.
One product coming from the Caribbean. And we must look at this thing as a group. Right. Not to say that Jamaica is so dominant, but we don't care what happens in Trinidad, or we don't care what happens in Bahamas. You know, it's a part of the
regional representation.
Regional representation, and I found that very good to see that. And I mean, Geraldine Barnes in the long jump for under 17 girls, I saw that as well. It was really fantastic to see. I think Carifta is still on in earnest. I think today is the final day. We're going to say the 200 meters, and I think the 4x4s and so on. And Jamaica continue expect to do well with these races that are remaining. So track and field is going on well. Yeah,
we're getting into the nitty-gritty of the season.
I just going to rush with another meet that was there that featured a lot of Caribbean athletes, Jamaican athletes in particular, that did very well over this meet this last weekend. Miramar in Florida, Miramar Invitational. And of course, we saw the likes of Oblique Seville. Ran a fantastic time, 9.91, followed by Akeem Blake. I'm expecting these two gentlemen
to have some tough battles going ahead.
The flag bearers for Jamaica sprinting. With the likes of Asafa stepping aside and bold. I'm expecting these two guys to be the guys that are going to raise up the flank high for Jamaica. So the likes of Christian Coleman on the American side against this guy, Tibogo, from Botswana.
Much controversial, Tibogo. You spoke about battles. I'll tell you that he and
he's going to have some battles.
They have a battle coming up.
We're looking forward to those battles, of course. And we see the likes of Shakara Richardson. We know she's very flamboyant in her thing, you know. You know what I mean? A lot of people say that she's extra, but she won a fantastic time, 10.57, albeit win-aided, but was a fantastic time nonetheless.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Peaking at the right time of the season.
Yeah, man. And we saw Sarika Jackson coming third in the 400 meter. She's not going to run the 400 meters. She's going to concentrate on the 2, but she's doing a lot of background work with a 400 meter.
Right.
And she ran 51.64. So the winner was Shamir Little for the US in 50.67. So we're going to see stuff all over this season. We're looking forward to in Hungary later in this year, I think around August 16 thereabout. We're looking forward to the World Championship in track and field.
That's a big closer.
Yeah, that's a big closer. So we're just going to sprint out of this section. When we come back, we're going to look at the domestic leagues all around the world. Stick and stay with us. It's an exciting part of the program coming to now.
Welcome again, viewers and listeners. Well, you know, we just gave you a whole catalog of track and field, you know, what's happening on the local circuit and so forth. So we're going to switch it up a bit and move over to what's happening in the world of football. We're going to give you some local football and some international football as well.
Of course.
Right. You know, our domestic league here, the JPL, you know, have been up and running, getting towards the back end of the season now. You know, this is where you really see the table structure starting to take place.
Yeah.
You know, and we're realizing that Arnett Gardens, you know, is sitting. Well, I wouldn't say that they're sitting pretty, you know.
No, not at all.
No.
Yeah, you want to call 2 points difference
right?
Pretty.
We wouldn't call that pretty, but they're sitting at the top of the table now after a very, very eventful week. Some of the matches that would have happened in the week that would have just transpired, that would have been match day 21.
Indeed.
We would have had Humble Lion, you know, who I realized that this week, though, it was a very scrappy week in terms of red card. We have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches with red cards all in them. It was a very scrappy week this week.
A scrappy week, you know, but I'm telling you, because the marbles are out, you know, and person trying to gather those marbles in. It's gonna be a little bit more hectic, you know. It's not.
That is true.
It's not business as usual. No, you know, people fighting today. No, right.
Right.
You know, so the cards are gonna come flying now.
That is true. That is so true, because you have teams that are battling relegation. So at this point in time, you know, coaches are ready to throw the kitchen sink in. That's, you know, they're ready to take a card knowing that the possibility of 3 points is there.
Yeah, man, definitely so.
And that is true. That is true. So we see where Humble Lion, you know, went up against Jamalco. Humble Lion would have won that one 2-0. You know, we're just going to give you the results here, and then we'll give you a little bit of discussion in terms of how the table is looking. Tivoli Gardens, you know, they were playing Cavaliers as well. That match holds a red card as well. Cavalier would have won that one 1-0. Harborview and Portmore would have won that one 1-0 as well. And then Falkland and Waterhouse. This was a very eventful match. I saw snippets of this match as well. Very, very exciting match. You know, it's been a while since we saw a match with about 5 goals in it. Waterhouse would have won this one 3-2. Another very eventful match would have been Mount Pleasant playing Mobile United. Another red card in this match as well. And this one would have drawn and ended 2-2. Arnett Gardens would have played Chapelton Maroons, and Arnett would have run away with this one, you know, winning this one 3-0. Problems continue for Chapelton Maroon there. And then Mullions United versus the much fancied Dumble Holding, who would have won this one 3-2. Another 5-goal thriller there as well.
Indeed. Which is kind of a little departure from what we know to be for the JPL. We just know the 1-0 victories and the 1-1s and so on. So when you say anything above 2 or 3 goals,
right,
it has a surprise.
Right, and you know those matches are generally matches of mass entertainment.
Indeed.
How the table is looking, we have Arnett Gardens, you know, sitting on 42 points. Cavalier closely behind on 40, and then Mount Pleasant
38.
Closely behind again on 38, and
Harborview
would finish out the top 4 on 36 points. In terms of relegation threatened, you know, not much changes to the bottom of the table. No. If I'm being honest, there might be some changes as we now see Tivoli Gardens sitting in 11th. And remember, Tivoli was comfortably mid-table a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, but we started to see some signs though, because they were not getting the results, you know, some drawn games and stuff like that. So they've been drawn down, they've been dragged down in the relegation scrap. I think about 3 losses, 2 draws in their last 5 matches thereabout. That would have kind of pushed them down into a somewhat of a squabble right now, because you know Jamalco is closely behind on 16 points, and that's just 3 points. Well, that's one match. That's correct.
You know, that result can change in one match. So we see where Tivoli isn't really sitting as comfortable as they were a few matches ago. Jamalco in 16 points and 12. Falkland on 10 points. I think Falkland and Chapelton have really. I think that's it for them.
Yeah, man, that's curtains.
I think they've called it.
Yeah,
especially
Chaperton. That's curtains. They're playing, but
they're just playing for the matches have already been scheduled.
Yeah, on-end fixtures, right?
Right, but I think for those two sides, it's done and dusted.
I would agree with that.
In terms of goal scoring prowess, I think who is leading the goal scoring prowess now? I know Fabian Reed is up to third, and then you have Hamilton.
No, I think it was Trevante Stewart. I think he was on 14.
Stewart
was on 14. 14 goals. I'm not too sure how that shifted. In that, but I know that he was right up there.
Right.
And then we had Anderson.
Colin Anderson. So it was Colin Anderson 14, Stewart 14, and then Reed, who have climbed the table rapidly.
11 or 12.
Is now on 13 as well.
13 as well.
I think he had a hat trick a couple weeks back, so that would have done some good for
I
his
know.
difference.
I know he was on 11. But or 10. Yeah, so that hat trick would have brought him right up there.
Right up there.
And he has been having a fantastic season.
He has.
Truth be told that he is really playing a captain's role for Arnett Gardens.
Right.
And of course, somebody that we want to get on our program here, because somebody from the community as well, to just have a little chat with, talk about his journey in football and as well. So I'm happy that he's performing that well. And I've seen quite a few games with him this season. And he's a real professional.
Right.
And he makes Arnett tick. You know what I mean? And that is good,
I saw a few games with him as well. He strikes me as a traditional number 9.
Yes.
Very few, these guys like Colin Anderson, Trevante Stewart, they'll roam a bit, but he's a traditional number 9 type of player.
Yes.
And with the likes of Arboyne and Deacon and so forth around him to do the running for him, I think that role fits him very well.
Yeah, man. And he's a workman like and of course he's not the youngest of the bunch as well. His experience as well, but he's showing that level of experience is showing week in, week out.
That is true. Switching it over now to the much anticipated, EPL fixtures, and it's been a very, very eventful week. We just had the closure of match day 30.
Yes, it did.
The final match in match day 30 would have been Liverpool and Arsenal, and we're going to get to the results of that in a few minutes.
Yes.
So starting on match day 30 with the one and only Manchester United, playing Everton. And we would have won that one 2-0, I believe. McTominay and Martial, would have came back with a goal for us in that one.
Yeah, man, indeed. A good win for you.
It is.
This decibel level going up when you're speaking about that fixture. But what are you going to do with Antonio Martial after the season, though?
I was having this conversation a few days ago with a colleague of mine as well. I think his time at the club is done, and I am not saying that in a way like done, him need to leave, get out. No, I think, sometimes club and players have mutual partings.
Yeah.
Where you just believe that you no longer fit in at the club. And I think that is the case for Martial right now.
Yeah.
I'm just not seeing where he
fits into the club.
We still need a striker.
Indeed.
Because I think Wakers is on loan. And personally,
I saw something with Weghorst.
Yes.
That they're not going to keep him.
No. I would not keep him either.
Okay.
I think he's not. Forgive me for saying this, viewers, and this is not any biased, nature with me, but I don't think he's a Manchester United player.
Okay.
I think he plugged that gap well throughout the season that we needed, but I don't think he's a Manchester United player. The style of football at Manchester United.
He's a hard worker, though. You don't think that there's a place for him as a point man in Manchester United side, based on his work rate.
Based on his work rate, but the thing is that work rate is good. And I know that within our squad, a few of our players consider themselves a little bit too luxurious for my liking. Yes. But I think just the ball game that Weghorst plays,
yes.
I am just not see it fitting in a Manchester United. If you take from around him, let's say Anthony or Sancho or so forth, I just can't see it. I just don't see it happening. I really just don't. Just similar to a Lukaku. In Lukaku's second season, I just could not see Lukaku fitting the style of play that Manchester United had wanted to play.
Yes.
And I'm not seeing that with Weghorst. I think he filled the gap wonderfully throughout the season.
Yes.
Right, hold up play, the link up play and stuff were good. But in terms of
I saw something United and I said that they're not gonna keep him beyond this season. So
no, I'm just not seeing that happening.
Okay.
I think we still need a striker doing.
Okay.
I think we still need a striker. I would definitely keep Rashford up front, but I think we still need a striker.
I hear some stories. Somebody said, a virgin of mine as a Manchester United fan says, He said, Osimhen.
Osimhen. but with Osimhen, I mean,
you singing that song that he wants this gentleman to be in that club.
I would definitely go for Osimhen. But if you go for Osimhen, you're gonna have to shift up some things up front.
Yes.
Because Osimhen and Rashford is gonna give you like for like performances in terms of their style of play. Maybe not result, but their style of play. You're gonna get like, I think we need a number 9. A dead number 9. That's what I think we need. You realize how City is playing?
Indeed.
With their just a dead number 9.
Yeah.
Just we need a Van Persie. We need a number 9. We really just need a number 9. For years we haven't had a serious, a real. I think from Van Persie left, we haven't had a number 9 player at Manchester United.
I believe Osimhen could be that person for you guys. You know?
It could be.
Based on his talent, you know what I mean? Clearly. He's a strong forward.
Definitely. I would go for him.
He has ability.
I would take him.
You know where the goal is at, for sure.
I would take him just like that.
Yes.
Just like that, I would take him. But I think some things would have to kind of shift up front or behind him a little bit to really accommodate. Because how he plays with
Mr. K.
Yeah, that player.
That special K.
Shiva. Yes. How he plays with that player.
Yes.
It's a 2 up front, you know.
Yes, man.
We don't play a 2 up front. Manchester United do not play a 2 up front.
Yes.
So that's why I'm saying some things would have to shift up to accommodate him in that system. Or shift it to a 2 up front with him and Martial. Not Martial, him and Rashford, or maybe him and Sancho. Something would have to shift to accommodate him. But I mean, it have been a good season, but I think from that loss with Liverpool, we kind of fell off the wagon a little bit in the Premier League.
Yes.
I think we fell off the wagon a little bit in the Premier League. So we have some momentum to rebuild towards the back end of the season to see if we can, solidify that 3rd or 4th position. Because I don't see us catching City. We're definitely not catching Arsenal. So if we can solidify that 4th or 3rd position to, get into the Champions League.
Run of the fixtures seem to be in
our favor.
Your favor.
Right, that's true.
It seems as if you have some good fixtures that are winnable fixtures for Manchester United. And you should hold on a Champions League spot, But it's going to be very competitive though, because Tottenham usually close kind of strongly.
Right.
And of course, Newcastle don't seem to be going away,
No.
It seems as if they're going to be there both at the end as well. So it's going to be tight.
But I'm going to tell you this, I call Newcastle for the top 4. Yeah. I mean, the battle is going to be Man U or Tottenham.
I think when I said it at the time, I said that Newcastle would not have finished in the top 4.
But we had expected them to finish in Europe.
Yes.
But I tell you something.
Yes.
The way how this side is shaping up,
Yeah.
With the way how this squad that they have is shaping up, man. I tell you that
the confidence is in that
day,
yes, man.
This squad can beat any team in the league,
without a doubt.
On their day, this squad
I've
can
watched
beat
the
anyone.
last couple of matches with Newcastle, and I'm telling you, I'm so in love with this guy named Saint Maxima. The man is a perfect football. You know what I mean? If I had the blessing of talent to play football,
right.
I wouldn't want long to be like them. On the front foot.
He just seems like he enjoyed the football.
No, man.
He's just loving it.
He just enjoys his football. He wants to be on the front foot.
But I'm going to tell you something.
Every single time he's going to go direct.
My most preferred thing about him is this.
Yes.
It's not that he dribbles and he takes them.
Yes.
I mean, I love to see that as well, but that's not it.
Yes.
It's the decision that he makes after.
That's correct.
I am a Manchester United player.
Yes.
And I will say it here and anywhere. On any given day, I will start Sancho over Anthony. Any given day. I will start Sancho over Anthony.
Yeah.
Anthony's end product and final decision in terms of passing and knowing when to carry it to the byline, when to swing it back. It irritates me too much.
Manchester, I call him a bridging name. I'm not calling your name and giving him a free press on the thing there. But I spoke to my bridging now over the weekend. He was saying to me that Anthony has to go.
No, there's a place for him same way.
Anthony has to go.
No, there's still a place for him in the Manchester United squad. But it's just that if I have that choice
that
to make...
what his exact language is that he has been found out. Anthony has been found out because he said that he knows that he doesn't have a right. And persons are pushing him on his right because he know that he has to come. He has to come back left.
So once he gets there, he needs to come back inside. So all that trickery is to get back on his left.
Get back on his left. So he said he's been found out.
The final decision.
Yes.
When you watch Saint Maximin, there's this goal that he assists. I'm trying to remember who scored, but
I don't have the one against Willock. that he head back across the face.
No, the one where he was out right and
Yeah.
he took on the left back. He took him on.
Yeah.
The ball came in perfect control.
Mhm.
One step over, dragged him to the left, dropped
Yes.
the shoulder, come back inside.
Yes.
When he got to that point,
Yes.
right, it would have been easy for him to try to take on the player that was standing in
Yes.
front of him and try to
He
beat
just
him and
laid it
go
off.
near post.
Yes.
He just lays it off.
Yes.
Goal.
Yes.
He just lays it off.
Yes.
Goal.
What I was seeing, what I was seeing from the 3 matches that I watched recently with him, he did a lot of work, and he could have taken a shot, and just came back and just laid it off. I mean, he was putting it on a platter for somebody to just finish, and
His final decision.
They were just missing the shots right across. You know what I mean?
His final decision, man, is something else. But you know, in times gone by, you would say we don't think Newcastle can keep him. You know, he's gonna go somewhere else. But no, that's not the case.
They have the money to keep him.
They have the money to keep him. But Newcastle is looking good, you know. And speaking about them, you know, they would have won 2-1 over the weekend as well.
Yes.
Playing Brentford.
Yes.
I think Isaac would have scored in that
Yes,
game.
indeed. Your player.
Right.
Your player.
I'm
He's
telling you.
a fantastic player. He's a fantastic player. Has a lot of time on the ball and make good decisions. And that is
Joe
all.
Willock
Yes, man.
would have scored in that one as well. But
Yes,
they have a really good squad.
Yes, indeed.
Chelsea would have played Wolverhampton Wanderham on the weekend as well.
You can just move forward with that. Let us just move forward with that. You know, I know that this fixture was going to come in. If I could just jump over this fixture. But of course, Chelsea lost. So we can just move on to the next game.
All right, we're moving on. We're not wasting any time. We're moving on. We're moving on to the team that's on a resurgence. Tottenham would have taken on high-flying Brighton as well. Tottenham would have won that one. 2-1. Another interesting fixture would have been Villa, who was in New Forest. This was a good match as well.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest, yes.
Right. I think Watkins would have gotten one in
Yes,
this one.
indeed,
And
indeed.
Bersham Traore.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
a man in good form.
Yeah, I thought that Bertrand Traore had left Aston Villa. I didn't know that he was still there.
He was still there. I think there was an
He-
injury that
injury was
ruled him out for some time.
okay, he was out for a little bit.
Right.
So when I saw him come back and he started banging against, this guy must have been injured or something like that.
No, man, he was out, you know, but remember, Bailey was in good knock, you know. So Bailey was still getting the nudge over
For
him in
him,
terms
yes.
at the start, but he's
Yes,
kind of
back-
regained some form of ascendancy in the past couple of matches.
Bailey's nose on the pine.
So now Bailey is kind of
Yes,
on the bench,
yes,
coming
yes.
off the bench.
Yes.
But when he does come on doing it, he puts in some really good shift.
Yeah,
you know.
good shift, yeah.
He puts in some really good shift when he does come on. Another very, very interesting match would have been Crystal Palace and Leeds as well. This was played on yesterday. Crystal Palace and Leeds would have been
phenomenal
5-1.
result for the 75-year-old coach.
And they needed this result. You know, they needed
Roy
this
Hodgson.
result.
You know
Right.
what I mean? I think this man would be in a retirement
Veteran
home.
of the game.
Yeah, man. I
Yeah,
thought
they
he would
call-
have
they
been
call him
at home relaxing.
Yeah, they call him the owl.
Yes,
You know,
boy,
they
he's
call
back
him
again.
the owl.
And he knows the what should I say, the Crystal Palace way.
Yes.
And of course, and they played fantastic against Leeds. They won 5-1, I think.
Right.
It's a fantastic result for them, you know.
Speaking of big results as well, you know, City had a big result as well, you know, over Southampton. They would have won this one 4-1. You know, this
and 30 goals is a long time. Nobody has scored 30 league goals in the
first season.
In their first season, and he has quite a bit of time left to add to that numbers, and he scores in bunches, Mr. Erling Haaland.
He could have had another hat trick in this
he
game
could have
as
had
well.
he's unplayable on his day. His day is unplayable.
I was having the conversation, I think it was a couple of days back. Someone was saying that it's not Haaland, it's the side. You know, he's saying that if you put a average striker in a Man City's team,
they're gonna score a lot of goals.
They will score 30 goals and they will look good. You know, I am for the idea that if you put an average striker in Man City's side with this current squad, that striker will bang in goals. But for Haaland specifically, it is not City that's doing it for him. This guy was doing it at
everywhere.
He was doing it at the Red Bull Club
everywhere,
and then he was doing it at Dartmouth just
everywhere.
And I believe any squad you put him in, once that ball get to him,
he's gonna score goal.
With the clinical, I don't know how you stop this guy.
No, man, he works.
Put him on the left, he uses the right. Push him on the right, he uses the left.
In that final quadrant, that 18-yard area, he's a poacher. He knows. his run off the ball is almost like unlike any other forward that I see in the game. He understands this.
Van Dijk is a powerhouse of our generation right now, and I see him holding a Van Dijk off.
The man is so strong. He's so strong.
You know, so I don't agree with that. You know, it is the squad. I agree with the fact that if you put an average striker in City's squad, he will give you good performances.
Yes.
But for Haaland, I don't think that's the case.
No.
And the current closer for the match day 30 would have been Liverpool and Arsenal, and this was a cracker.
Yes,
You know,
indeed.
I didn't really see all of it. I saw snippets. But this one was a cracker.
I saw. I went back to look at. Well, I saw the highlights. I didn't see the entire game, but someone had said that the Liverpool was a bit wasteful in this game. You know what I mean? Of course, Arsenal were in the ascendancy. They went 2 up. Then Liverpool roared back and was, got all that penalty, and they missed the penalty, through Mo Salah, and they could have won this game. They could have won this game and would have shifted up the entire Premier League table. But I guess a 2-2 draw. You know what I mean? Liverpool is struggling. Like my side, Chelsea, we are really struggling. I think Liverpool is in 8th. Chelsea, I think, is in 11th. You know what I mean? So we're going through our patches there.
Which is right. But for Arsenal though, we said it earlier, on some days when it's your time, you need a little bit of luck as well,
Yeah.
And I think this is my question. I said I had a question for you.
Yes, you did, yeah.
Looking at how the table is shaping up right now and the matches.
I'm still saying City.
Still saying City.
I'm still saying City. Because what has happened now, this match here that they have lost, the gap is 6 points. The gap is 6 points. The gap is 6 points with 1 game in hand to City.
That's
and
true.
They have Arsenal to play.
That's a 6-pointer.
With a superior goal difference.
Interesting.
I'm just saying that it is so tight to call, but based on how City have really performed in the latter part of seasons, I'm still saying that they are showing for the title.
And the route that they have as well. My reason why I still say Arsenal is the route, because I think Arsenal have the kind of fixtures towards the back end of the season.
Yes.
I really think they have the kind of fixtures. So we're gonna watch and see how it shapes out. But I know, for the longest time, we have not had a challenge down to the wire.
Yeah, like this.
I think City have been bossing it for the past 3 years thereabouts.
There was a time when Liverpool and City was kind of close.
I think there was that 1 point different a couple seasons back.
It's similar to this. to this in terms of the thing. But interesting times that are here, and I'm sure that the next result, that next match that Arsenal plays, if they don't get a 3-point result, I'm saying that the footsteps are going to get louder.
That is when the table opens. That is when it opens.
Indeed.
Speaking of opens, this is a table that is as wide open as they come. We're going to switch the Bundesliga table. We're just going to give you the structure of the table right now.
Indeed.
As it stands after 27 matches played. Right, we have Bayern, who is now leading, and remember at Bayern we now have the much fancied one of your favorite coach, Mr. Thomas Tuchel, taking the reins.
Used to be a good coach of mine, but I we fell out at the back end of the season at Chelsea.
Well, we're gonna see how it plays out.
Yes, indeed.
Because now he's at the reign at Chelsea after Nagelsmann have been dismissed of his duties. Some say there are some controversial background issues.
Yes.
What? Dortmund is second in that table.
Yes,
Bayern first on 58, Dortmund on 56.
Yes.
Union Berlin 51 in third, RB Leipzig on 48 in fourth.
Yes.
Freiburg on 47.
Yes.
And Leverkusen running out the top six on 43 points. So very, 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 very tight-lipped table here.
One of the tightest Bundesliga matches tables that you would see over the last couple of years.
That is true. Switching our focus from the domestic leagues, we're going to jump over quickly to the Champions League to just give you some preview on some of these matches to come. I guess the major table topper here, mouth-watering fixture would be Real Madrid versus Chelsea.
Yes.
That comes up on the 12th. I'll give you first pick on that one.
Yeah, man. It's going to be, as I said, most of these fixtures are really mouth-watering fixtures. We have a Benfica versus Inter, Man City versus Bayern, and of course Real Madrid versus Chelsea, and Milan versus Napoli.
That's going to be a cracker.
That's going to be a cracker. So if we look at Real Madrid, Chelsea, everybody look at this and say, Real Madrid is going to win.
But give them a little history.
Give them a little history. Yes, man. But I'm saying that Real Madrid doesn't want to play Chelsea.
Yes.
Now they fear playing Chelsea. We have had fantastic results against them in the past. Of course, they would have beaten us last year. But the year before, I think we beat them.
Yeah, that's the year when you won.
We won the Champions League. So I'm saying that we have had good rivalry, and I don't believe they want to play us. I think we pose a kind of challenge for them that they are not used to. But of course, Real Madrid have real pedigree in the Champions League.
You know, you don't write them off in that competition. You know, another table topper there is going to be Man City and Bayern. I think there's a lot of interpersonal things there with coaches and players and so forth. So I think that one is going to be a real cracker. So, you know, quite a few matches to come, you know, and some really, really interesting ones where matters run even beyond football.
Yes, indeed.
So we're going to take a quick break there. You can join us in a few minutes while we bring you a few discussion in our discussion segment. So let's stick and stay with us, and we'll be back in a few minutes. All right.
Welcome back. Now we're at the exciting segment of the program, the discussion segment, you know, where we get into some of these real core issues, you know, the best discussion segment on radio.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I dare say so myself. And of course, we would have discussed, touch it a little bit in the track and field segment of the program, Saschin, where we were looking at some of the missteps would have called by the J3s in terms of the whole organization, of course. And then we heard one of the key sponsors in Mr. Don Wehby from Grace saying that he's not going to be a part of anything that looks like indiscipline on the heels of his $170 million worth of investment in terms of the schoolboy thing.
Right.
And a lot of persons were looking on, myself included, and saying, I wonder if this was a knee-jerk reaction to what has transpired in terms of the happenings at Champs. Yeah.
Well,
let's us delve into it.
But before we even get into the finer matters of this, you know, viewers and listeners, we need to understand that this sponsorship, you know, it's a dual benefit situation. You know?
Of course.
So I don't want persons to be looking at Champs and believe that Champs is not doing anything for their sponsors, you know? Because there are sponsors lined up locally and internationally.
Listen.
Knocking on the door.
I'm not saying, as you rightly say, 170 million is nothing to sneeze at.
Right.
But listen, there are deeper pockets in this game.
Trying to get
in to this product.
Right. Well, while I understand his concern from a business standpoint, where you're saying that, listen, if my brand is affiliated with this, I want my brand to be properly represented.
That is right.
But come on, man, you're a local brand, right? And this is a local product. Where is the conversation for nurturing and say, all right, if this is happening, how can we fix this? How can we correct this? Why is that the first prompt that you're gonna come to say, all right, you know, I don't want to be associated my brand, etc., etc.
Mr. Wehby is gonna tell you that his brand is not local. His brand is international, and I think that is where his fear comes from.
Right.
That because it is going out into the public space, he doesn't want his brand
to be viewed in that light,
in that international space.
And that aspect, I can understand that.
Understand from a business standpoint, yes. But as you rightly opined, he should look at the other areas to see exactly that we are doing what we're saying we're doing from an organization standpoint, and see how the organization is tackling these various issues that are there before you reach to a situation where you're talking about pulling out, you know, sponsorship. And
we I think we hinted at it before that if you're going to come out and point fingers,
yes, indeed,
which I don't support,
yes,
but if you're going to do that, you're pointing the fingers in the wrong direction.
Yes.
The organizers had their blunders.
Of course.
Right?
Several.
Planners and persons and backroom staff. I saw a clipping of not referees, officials walking on the pitch during a race.
Yes, of course.
Colliding with players.
Of course.
Where is the address for matters like that?
Indeed.
These athletes have been training for years for this one moment.
Yes.
If youthful exuberance get the better of them, I am not saying they should not be disciplined.
Of course.
I am not saying they should not be molded and sculpted and corrected.
Yes.
But I'm saying do it in such a manner where they understand that, you know, while I'm being disciplined, my country still supports me.
Yes, indeed.
You know, my country still supports me.
Yes, indeed. And it's only said in terms of what the thing is. before we become very highly critical, we need to do some introspection.
Right.
Because a lot of things are going awry in other areas. Because I myself had a bit of peeve in terms of the organization, in terms of the person that were even calling the races.
Right.
It does seem as if something, in terms of the whole equipment, some persons were saying that they were not hearing the gun. It seems very inadvertent of how the guns were being fired.
Right,
There are a lot of callback of races and giving green cards. That means about there are some things that is structurally wrong with what is happening there.
Where is the conversation to address
That is what
those
I
things?
want to see those things addressed, because this is what I call an age-old problem that I've seen at different championships, that you're having these kind of challenges. We need to fix the equipment that is there before we start laying out and saying.
And if you're banking on your investment, if you're defending your investment, then these are the matters you should be asking. These are the questions you should be asking.
You know, so I'm hoping that I heard in the press that he was invited to speak on Beyond the Headlines and he refused. I'm not too sure where that is, but I want to believe that Mr. Wehby has been very available, you know, to the press and so on. And I really want to hear where it's coming from.
Right.
Because sometimes when these things happen on the fly, some things are said without you really thinking about it. I'm hoping the dust has settled now, that he can go back and now ask the questions and see what the responses are now. You know that the dust have settled. So we're just looking forward to that interview, if it will ever happen. But we are looking forward to hearing that and commenting on the TTT Radio Sports Roundup. The next one that I want to have a discussion on is basically a feel-good factor.
Right.
You know, we would have seen tremendous performance from our athletes, two in particular, Alana Reid, 1092, and of course, Boraji and Krumi, 999. And we're saying to ourselves, what does this argue for Jamaican track and field going forward?
I mean, I think it's a good, we're on a good projection.
Yes.
You know, we're really on a good projection. And we said it earlier that for this season of athletics, not just champs, athletics overall,
yes. This year being a champion, world championship year as well, yes.
I am seeing a good quorum of players that can be ushered into the next generation.
Yes.
You know, I think that gap have been there since maybe let's say about 2017 to about where we are now.
Yes,
with the
likes of the Usain stepping away and
the Johan, you know, dipping in form, you know, the Asava, you know, retiring Shelly on the wrong side of, you know, her career and so forth. That gap have presented itself, and I believe that this core group of players, is enough to be ushered into that gap.
Yes,
5 years, I believe this is a seed that have been planted that we will be reaping the fruits from in about 5 years from now.
Yes, indeed, and I agree with you. I believe that the fruits are going to be even quicker than 5 years.
Yes. I believe
it's going to be quicker than 5 years.
I believe that as well.
Because what we are seeing here with the talent that is there, listeners and viewers, they're at a point in their development, even at this stage, that they are so far advanced,
right,
than their predecessors.
They're rubbing shoulders with top athletes at this stage.
At this stage, based on the time that they're generating now. You'd have said that you're giving them a few years to develop, but based on where they are now,
they can compete.
That's
true.
And that is why I feel that for females more than even the males, I see that transition happening quite quicker.
Right. That is true.
Thing there, because based on where they are, because 1092, you know, you can live
that's no boy.
No. You can make a life off that. You know?
Yes.
As a female athlete,
you run a couple circuits with that time. You're set.
You're set. You're okay.
You know,
if you can
999.
Exactly.
And I believe there's a 996 in him.
Or lower.
Yeah.
Or lower.
I believe there's a 996 or lower.
And lower. And what this does for me in terms of expectancy, with this kind of bullet start that he has,
right,
he's almost like almost a pick for the Jamaican national team.
Yes.
As a starter.
Yes.
Because remember, you know, we had Nesta Carter in years gone by, and so on. Nesta was there both in terms of sprinting, but he had that start. This guy can propel us to start returning to winning ways in terms of 4x1 and so on, or be competitive with the likes of the US and Great Britain and so forth.
That gap that
presents itself, of course.
That is true.
You know,
so we have good things. You know, we have some really good things looking towards.
Yeah, man. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for Jamaica's track and field, and it's an institution that is say that you can see building year after year. You can see the improvement and so on and so on. I would have hoped that the powers that be keep this, you know what I mean, production line, as I said, the conveyor belt continue.
Coming through.
Yeah, coming
And
through.
Champs have been doing that, you know. Champs have
Yes,
been for
indeed.
our country. I will give credit, you know. I know sometimes we give them some stick, but for
Yes.
Champs have been doing that. And I will make the record clear, you know, for the persons who are saying that Boajin Kumre
Yeah.
is scouted from overseas or scouted from Africa
Yeah.
because of the young man's name.
Yes.
He's a native of my community.
Yeah.
Well, not my community, but my
Yes.
parish.
Jamaican true and true.
He's a native of my parish, so I can stand with him on that
true and
matter.
true.
Right? I don't know the
I-
background of his parents, but he is a native of St.
You know,
Elizabeth.
I think we're gonna leave it there. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's one of us.
Right.
He's
he,
from
he is.
He's
He
one.
is.
He's one of us.
So love him and embrace him,
Yeah,
and,
man,
and
I
let's
love-
just
embrace
do
him,
away
and,
with the
You know
criticism.
what I mean? I love all other athletes, you know what I mean, and pray for them. You know what I mean? Sometimes they're going through some difficult times when you hear their story. You know that they're not from, you know, the upper echelon, if you want to call it. They're from real humble beginnings, and we
Right.
just
Their
want
goal is to get there.
to get there.
Is to get there.
Yeah, we're gonna take a break and we're gonna leave it here on the TTT Radio Sports
Is it?
Roundup.
For the
For-
program, nice. You would want to take a break and come back.
You know what I mean? And take a break and come back for another hour
Another
segment.
road.
But we're gonna leave those discussions for next week, and stick and stay with us as we bring those stories to you. Have a good week.
That is it.